I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, I love when that song come on. What is good, Buzz family? Welcome to the Marriage Bootcamp Hip Hop Edition after show. Today we are covering season 16, episode 9, Love the Way You Lie. We are at the end of the road, just one more episode, and we got a lot to talk about because elephants in the room are addressed, questions are asked, and answers are presented. Well, almost. We're going to get into that. We also have our special segment called Counselor's Corner. We got news and gossip and predictions and a lot more. So stick around for that. But before we get into it, allow us to introduce ourselves. Since we're live streaming on quarantine, I'll start with myself. My name is Byron K. In the house, we have Raiven French. Raiven, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, y'all, this is a good show. I'm ready.
And we got Miss Shayna, Miss Shay live in the building. How you feeling this week?
I'm good. I'm back. I missed you guys last week, but I cannot wait to talk about this last episode because stuff got crazy.
It did. Actually, before we even get into the craziness, what's your overall thought, Shayna?
I thought it was a really good episode. It was kind of crazy to me how, we'll talk about it, but how the girls went out and just had a terrible time. I was so upset.
Yep.
But it was a crazy episode. I can't wait to talk about the lie detector questions and just there was so much to this episode.
Oh, what about you, Raiven?
Yeah, I'm with her on the party. That was a huge letdown. And if Jocelyn wasn't so feelings and having so many emotional issues, I feel like she would have got it popping. So I'm like, come on, ladies. Yeah, that was disappointing. Overall, great show though.
Yeah, it was. It was a good episode. It's funny because I may be the only person that noticed this, but when the show first came on and we picked up where we left off with Miss Chalet and Stu in the bed kind of going at it. And I noticed they have all the suitcases by the door. You could tell they're already packing. They're ready to go home. That's probably all Stu stuff because they have taken a dive. This is the worst mistake he's ever made and he's ready to go.
I was cracking up when he said that.
Wow,
he really hates it here.
Yeah, no,
he hates it there.
I think everybody's ready to go, but especially Stu. I think he probably feels like he made a fool of himself. And then this doesn't help because right in the beginning of the episode, Jocelyn basically blows his whole spot up. Stu's over here trying to chill. Then Jocelyn addresses the elephant in the room. Raiven.
This actually was the first episode that I felt bad for Stu. I was on your side, Byron, how you've been always by Stu's side. And I was like, dang, I feel bad for Stu for this episode. They did him dirty.
Yeah, one thing about Stu is he's great and ended up in bad situations.
Yes.
He don't even have to do it himself. He's just every episode, he's just in a bad situation.
Yeah, Stu's the Dennis the Menace of the show. I love it.
Didn't like, oh, go ahead.
No, I felt for Jocelyn on this show, even though this was wrong, how she approached the situation. How you feel about Stu, Byron, is how I felt about Jocelyn in this show. I knew she was wrong. Stu's not wrong. They just get on him. Mm-hmm. But I knew she was wrong in her approach. But for some reason, I still felt bad for her because I understood now she feels like the crazy person because it seems like that wasn't part of the discussion with her and Ballistic. Ballistic was almost acting like he never thought this or never said these things. So now she's looking completely crazy. Not just crazy for bringing it up in the form that she brought it up, but also she's making it up.
Yep.
So yeah, I was like, oh, it's a train wreck. Because now that was her goal, for people to see I'm not making this up, which just made everything worse.
Oh, do you think she's making it up, Shayna?
No, I think they definitely, they had an argument about it. We could tell they had an argument about it, but I just think it was not the right time or place for her to say it. And I think Ballistic also was more so, I don't know if he was more so just in his feelings about taking the lie detector test and brought up an argument and didn't really want Stu involved in the argument. And then when Jocelyn brought it to everybody, he was a little embarrassed. And then I think he kind of walked upstairs, but he wanted it to stay between them two. But she's like, if you have a problem, then you need to tell Stu.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally got that. But what I didn't like was she kept coming for Michelle throughout the
we gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that.
I was like, Michelle needs to smack her in the face.
Yes.
She needs to do something.
ain't nobody gonna really try Jocelyn. She's like,
maybe not like revert to violence, but she needed to at least stick up for her man for like 1 second.
I don't know. I don't know. So I think that Ballistic, I think that is something that he probably said in the morning, just kind of to check her and see where she's at, just like a temperature check, like, yo, so just so I know, there's nothing with you and Stu, right? Just because it has been mentioned before. So it's like, I just want to make sure, just me and you. So I'm thinking maybe he tried to address it, and then she took it as like, wait, you worried about Stu for real? All you need to tell him about it. I think maybe she just hyped it up.
Nah, Byron. You must have missed that whole conversation in the morning. He was upset. That wasn't a one-time thing.
Did we pick up that? Go ahead.
She had to ask him before. She had already, even though we're getting this conversation in retrospect, it didn't just happen that one moment.
True.
It was like, hey, why don't you say something to him? And so in her frustration, still the wrong place for it. It actually should have been kind of a private therapy moment with the doctor. In her frustration of him not saying anything to Stu, because now it's coming up again.
Yeah.
She brought it up.
Like a whole week later from when Chalet had brought it up.
But boom, so that shows you right there. That shows you right there the power in planting seeds. And we had already said that Miss Chalet got to stop doing stuff like that because she can manifest it just by speaking it, right? And now here she is. Now this small seed that she planted that she had left behind was still there being watered. And you know who watered it? Ballistic's lack of confidence.
You know who really planted the seed though? Who really planted the seed was Stu himself on the first day when he was dabbing Ballistic up and was like, oh, one of y'all wives might be gone. I'm trying to have a threesome, as he's talking to Ballistic. And then Michelet mentions that he likes Jocelyn. And now we're back here on day 9 talking about the thing all over again. So I think really Stu kept blaming it on Michelet because she said it out loud to everybody.
Yeah.
But he's the one who brought it up first.
You're right. So yes. And I think that, yes, he originally planted the seed, but when we listen to what Ballistic and Jocelyn are mad about, they're not even referencing that. They always reference Miss Chalet. Well, you said it. You're the one that spoke it. They don't even really acknowledge Stu. And it's funny because Ballistic say, I'm not even mad at you. This has nothing to do with you. So I don't know.
Jocelyn also said that I don't know. Seeing him look at me. She did blame a little bit on Stu, saying like his roaming eyes. He's always looking over here.
Remember this. Remember, Jocelyn could be kind of making that up a little bit or stretching it a little bit because she thinks everybody is attracted to her. Everybody wants to be her. Everybody.
That's true.
Anytime you get mad at Jocelyn, because you want to be me, you jealous to me. You can't just be mad at her.
Right.
So I definitely believe in this case, Jocelyn is the most wrong. Because I bet you it's not what she's making it seem. I understand the insecurity from Ballistic. I understand the seed that was planted by Miss Chalet, and even the seed that was planted by Stu. But I think the situation blew up because of Jocelyn.
Oh, it blew up because of Jocelyn for sure. But I think it blew up in her head because of Ballistic. Because she's just like, "Are you kidding?" Wow.
Yeah.
She was like offended that Ballistic even thought that she would do anything with Stu. Like she's like, "Are you kidding me? That $2."
Like, why would she say that?
Why? That was so wrong.
On him. I know.
Yo, I reposted because I thought this was hilarious when she was like, I don't even think he's good enough for you. So he definitely ain't good enough for me. I'm like, oh, Jocelyn.
That's a stab wound right there.
That
that's
was a stab.
That wasn't even to the back. That was a stab in the chest.
I wanted somebody to stick up for Michelet. I
wanted Michelet to stick up for Michelet because she was coming at her the whole time. And then like in her confessionals, you can see that she was just like, I was trying to count to 5. I was doing this, I was doing that. And I was like, I can appreciate growth and not trying to, fight with anybody. I can appreciate that. But like the least you could have done was been like, yo, I know you and your man are having an issue, but like there's no need to like disrespect my man on the back end. Like just anything, because I was like, she's like getting super disrespectful to your face. And now I'm concerned about the way you even feel about Stu.
Yes, but I think Jocelyn wanted a reaction though from her. So I think it's smart that she did it.
It could have still been a calm response, how like Shawnee responds to people. Shawnee is very like calm and collected, and she just cuts the conversation short. Yeah. Like she could have just said something really calm to the point and been like, that's all I had to say. Like, I know you're upset, so I'm gonna let you be upset, but
the way though, in the kitchen, the way Michelle talked about Stu was like you don't even like Stu. The way Michelle said it was like Michelle don't even like Stu either.
Yeah. And on that note about liking Stu, let us go ahead, because we can talk about this all day. Let you guys know how much we how much we love you guys. Raiven, go ahead and let them know.
Yes, we do love you guys. Thank you for sticking in. Today was a good show. I can't wait to continue talking about it, but we want to thank you. We always want to thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. As you can tell, even at home, we love watching the show. Keep commenting, subscribe to YouTube. If you're seeing us on YouTube right now, give us those thumbs up, give us the 5 stars so that we can continue bringing you the best shows ever. Anything that you watch, it is on AfterBuzz TV. So continue to watch, and we'll continue to bring that. Thank you, guys.
Just like that. Just like that.
Like
Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Please leave comments so we can check those out and read those to everybody. But I do want to go back to that topic just real quick, because so what I do appreciate is that both Michelle and Stu apologized to the respective parties. So Michelle apologized to Jocelyn for planting that seed, and Stu apologized to Ballistic for pretty much the same thing. So I appreciate that, but I'm wondering why, and this is what I was going to say, Jocelyn can really be a bully, especially if you let her. So why would she go on to actually kind of somewhat bully Michelle after Michelle apologized?
Because her fight, her boyfriend still wasn't over. So she like, okay, great, you apologize, but I still have an issue.
Yeah, she's still heated. True. All right. Any last thoughts from you, Raiven, or you agree?
I agree with that. She can't help herself. She doesn't know when she's in that kind of angry state, which is her go-to from upbringing or whatever that is. It's no coming back. She's the type that the next day she will apologize.
Yeah.
But it takes her a moment. Especially because Ballistic is now not on her side. And she said some pretty heavy things. I'm tired of begging him. I'm tired of getting him to see that I trust him. He even said, she was like, she said something about not trusting something. And he said, I don't ever trust you. I don't know if you guys caught that moment.
Yeah, I heard it.
There was some pretty heavy exchanges happening, which I think when you're angry, the truth comes out. Kind of when you're angry, when you're drunk.
Yeah.
So it's some deep stuff, and they were one of the number 1 teams for me as far as how they communicated with each other. And I'm like, oh, it's a lot of underlying things we didn't get to see with this couple.
Yeah, man. And we will see it soon. And part of the way we're going to see it is through the lie detector. So the couples all had to take the lie detector, which they do every season of Marriage Boot Camp. And apparently there were some people lying. So I just want to know, I will ask you, Shayna, were there any questions that you thought were like right on the money, or any questions that you're interested in knowing the answer for yourself?
We all knew Jocelyn was going to ask if Ballistic was going to marry her. We all knew that. I think the surprising part about the lie detector questions to me was that like CeeLo asked a question and the judge was like, absolutely not, I'm changing your question. And I was like, oh, I didn't know they would be changing questions. And then she changed the actor's question. Like, I was like, oh, okay, like you guys already had pre-questions for them regardless of what they wanted to ask, which is fine because I think it's basically like the judge is saying, like, you've been talking about this one thing for the last 9 days. Why would you ask a totally different question?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested in knowing Adwoa and Styles' answers because they had the deepest questions.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I was literally like holding my face watching the show. Like, she wants to, like, you're gonna ask if she blames you for the death of your kid, and then she wants to know if you had an emotional attachment to the woman that you cheated with. And I was like, this is so stressful. This is so stressful.
Those are some grown people questions too, like grown people questions.
I mean, I've been saying every week that they're my favorite couple because I think they're just taking this in the best and going the deepest with each activity, and this one they didn't disappoint either. So I would say definitely Styles and Adwoa. I'm looking forward to seeing their answers, but I also feel like they're not a part of the 4 people that lied. So
And it's funny because I like the buildup. So how when Judge Toller said it, he basically said, I felt like she was looking at me. Styles P said, I felt like she was looking at me. And then they even confirmed, like, hey, she was looking over in y'all's direction. So I think that was a good diversion. They make us think, oh, Styles might be lying. And then they hit us with the whoop-de-doop.
Well, I don't know either because, Styles is saying, like, I felt an emotion, but it was lust. So I'm like, you're thinking too much and you might have messed up.
Exactly. And then Bianca, like I tried to tell y'all, so with this thing, even if you're not lying, if you do like little things like move around, then the machine will pick that up and it'll count as deception, not necessarily a lie, but it might as well mean the same thing. So it's funny how Bianca got up there and she moved and she even called it out. Oh, I moved. I think she did it on purpose because I think she know how these things work.
Yes, I thought the same thing. Like, come on, Bianca, you're taking a lie detector test right now. Be still. Lie detector test 101.
And she was
so
confident about like, oh, this question, like I definitely have no problem with this, and then like gonna get in there and start moving around. Like, you're not fooling nobody, girl.
Right. I thought Styles' question was a trick question. Actually, Shayna, the way you just posed the question to me would have made more sense. Emotional attachment. Did you have an emotional attachment would have been a more specific question, because that's too vague. He is right in saying it could be lust,
like,
it could be this.
Were you emotionally involved? Yes. I think is what they said.
Yes.
Yeah. Nah, that's a good way of flipping the question. That's why I really respect Judge Toller, because she really knows like how to get the true answer out of people and how to ask the best question to set up the best answer. So that's kind of dope. I'm actually looking forward to Bianca and Chose's, because it's so funny that both of their issues is with infidelity. So with Chose's, if he has any feelings for another woman besides Bianca, and Bianca, which is actually funny to me, if she what was hers?
Got pregnant.
By
somebody else. That was big. That was big because that hit me out of left field.
Out of left field, and you're just asking for this specific year. I'm like, you guys' relationship is crazy to me. Like, it is not.
And they're asking about infidelity when they weren't together.
Yeah.
So
I think this is just a battle of the egos. I think they don't really care about that. They just want to be right, so they can be like, see, this whole time you was the problem in boot camp or whatever.
Right.
It's sad, man. It's sad. Any more questions that really like stood out to y'all?
I'm trying to think of Shani and CeeLo's situation. I mean, my thing with CeeLo is that he isn't fully invested in this whole process, and we've been saying that the whole time. And then day 9, your lie detector test, and you Judge Toller doesn't even accept your question because you're still not taking it serious. I'm just like, dang. I just don't know that I'll save the rest of my thought for predictions, but I don't know that I foresee CeeLo and Shani getting married. I just do not.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. Raven, I want you to weigh in on that.
I could totally see that, because they've been engaged for what? Is it 5
years?
That is a long time. I don't think CeeLo doesn't love her.
Right.
I just think whatever all of his stuff is makes it so hard to move forward. And he doesn't know, like what you're saying, he doesn't know how to go deeper. Either it makes him feel like a punk, or, whatever his things are, it makes him hard for him to actually really go to that emotional place, which, how do you continue the relationship?
Yeah.
Well, he looked like he was ready to get down. And when they were partying, I felt CeeLo would be the first to go.
Yo.
He likes to party.
Yo, can we go into that then? So they went out for their not couples night, their singles night, because as of that night, they were single, and the women's vibe was off from before they even left. So back when Jocelyn was trying to bully Michelle A, and then leading all the way up into the club, it was just off. It was just like, if it was y'all, do y'all think y'all would be having some fun, or would you try to?
I was so disappointed. I was just like, okay, you get this one night to go out, especially Jocelyn and Bianca, like, y'all like to turn up every day.
Right.
And now you're getting a chance to go out, and all you're talking about is how whack it is. And then even Shani had her white bedazzled suit on. She was ready to party. Like, I just felt like you guys can't put aside what the lie detector was for a couple of hours. Like, that just didn't make sense to me. And then, like, the guys forgot about it the second they got in the bus.
Bruh, to your point, it's so funny how Bianca, to what you said earlier, and I wanted to save it for this part, how Bianca said, oh, he asked that question, that's nothing. Meanwhile, the whole night in the club, that's all she thought about was the question.
Yeah, oh, I missed that. Really?
Yeah,
the whole night, all they were talking about was the lie detectors. And then when they got back in the bus, I was like, y'all still talking about this on the way home?
My goodness.
Aren't you done talking about it? Like, you're going to have to worry about it tomorrow.
Yeah,
like, give yourself a night to just relax.
I would have had fun even to outdo the guys.
Yep.
Like
Yes.
that's my only
I
motive.
mess with you, Raiven.
Like
Even
even
if
to
I'm
just
thinking about it.
have the night and be like, I know the guys are probably popping bottles over there. Like,
Right.
let's just have fun.
And I love it. I love how the dudes was unapologetic about having fun too. They wasn't trying to like limit their fun. It's like, you know what? I'm tired of being in that hellhole. Let me let loose. And they did that. So no, I thought
It
it was
was-
dope,
was
you
a
man.
could
little
see
too
the-
much.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to say, you could see the guys
She was
who, to
messed
me,
up.
seem a little more respectful still of their relationships.
Yeah, that was
versus
dope.
the ones of two specifically, CeeLo and then Choses,
Yeah.
look like they dip out in 2
See?
seconds if a female asks them to.
I don't think CeeLo would dip out. I think he would put one foot out and be like, you know what, it's kind of cold out there. Let me come back in. Because he'll realize he'll get a flashback. He'll get a flashback.
I think if he knew he wouldn't get caught, he'd dip out.
Yeah.
I do think that CeeLo is more of just, like a partier. He's had a residency in Vegas. Like he knows how to party and he knows how to entertain. So I feel like he's at this table. These girls come over. He's like, "Oh, I'm entertaining these girls here." Like I don't think that he would necessarily cheat on Shawnee on just a random like night. But I'm sure when she watches it, she would much rather him have been South P. Just chilling.
Yeah, he was
Ballistic
lit.
was chilling.
Yeah, they were lit.
Yeah.
Well, CeeLo was lit, and then Choses was lit. But the funny thing is, Choses is allowed to do that because even Bianca said, "I don't care if he's popping bottles with girls and stuff. I'll be there doing it too."
Yeah.
So it's so funny because Choses was the one that truly had a hall pass, so he could do that stuff and it would be okay. That's crazy.
They're weird. I don't believe her saying all that stuff. Because
it's another thing to like you have girls at the table and you're buying bottles and whatever, but he's like, those girls over there, send them a shot. That's like they wasn't even worried about you. You wanted them to be worried about you.
Right.
I don't know what to say, y'all. I don't know what to say. All I know is turn up, my guys.
Can we also just not blow past how Stu kind of was so drunk that he tried to freestyle?
Yeah.
And it was super trash.
My thing is, I'm always trying to be on Stu's side. So the first like 30 seconds, I was with him, and then he started talking about some other stuff. I was like, all right, Stu, I jumped off the boat now.
He said, I'm the chef. I cook it. I was like, what's happening?
Then he said something like, I'm the dumbest one in the room or something in front of those girls. I'm like, how can you impress girls and you making yourself look like a clown?
Stu ain't trying to impress nobody.
Clownery. And then he went to the other side of he went to the other side of the club and went to sleep.
No. He was sleep talking. He was like talking to himself the whole time when he was sitting there.
Yeah, something was happening.
Like, you saw it, Raiven.
Too much to drink.
You saw it, Raiven. It was like when that day when he was like, we have taken a dive, and he was talking to himself for an hour.
Oh, that's right.
He just did that in a club in front of other people. I don't know. I don't get it. We need Stu on the show. Stu, come on, bro.
I know, we really do.
Oh man, was there anything else that stood out about that episode before we go into our special segment?
I think it's time for the special segment.
Let's go into the special segment. Yes, it is called Counselor's Corner, where we basically just go through and we name or say or re-say something that stood out to us and we think is worth mentioning. So I'll let you go ahead and start, Shayna.
Okay, so what stood out to me the most from this episode was Misha Lane on the bus when she was like, he's a rap. And I was like, oh, okay, all day you've been talking about Stu, Jocelyn been talking about Stu, and now we're on the bus on the way back home for day 10 to find out, like, are these people staying together? And she seemed like she already made up her mind. She was like, he's a rap. And I was like, this is the first time that you're being honest with us and yourself, and I'm living for it. So I'm not like rooting for the demise of the relationship, but I am liking that she's coming to terms with like, this relationship is probably not for me, and I'm gonna need to like communicate that.
Yeah.
So that was I was like, oh, this is the best part of the show for this with me, because I was like, Misha Lay, like the whole time I'm like, say something, defend your man. And then in the end, she wasn't defending him because she's like, I'm done with this man.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even know this man, Kiki Palmer. I feel sorry for this man.
What's yours, Raiven?
Mine is, and they were one of my favorite couples, and I probably still root for them, but it's Jocelyn and Ballistic. I just feel like generally when we date people, we kind of connect on a trauma level. versus a healthy level, which would be your value system. I don't think Jocelyn's value system jives with Ballistic. And that's why he have issues. He wants her to kind of be different than a different person she is, which she may grow to be that person, or she may not. To this episode, let me see that he really, the value systems are different, and for whatever other value that she brings, that's why he continues to make it work. But that other part is too major. It's too major, and we shouldn't overlook those things, because then this is what happens.
You know what?
So I'm like, oh.
I want to piggyback on that, because honestly, I tried so hard to find a counselor's corner, and I couldn't really think of any like gems that somebody truly gave me, because this seemed more like a Scooby-Doo episode where they're trying to figure out the mystery. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I didn't really get any like true gems, but you putting that in perspective, I definitely agree with that, with the value systems and stuff. And honestly, I think in this case, which is crazy, it's rare to say the man should step away, but if they're not to be together, I think Ballistic will be the one to step away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, Jocelyn may be the one to say, if we not getting married, I don't want to be with you. But I think Ballistic will be the one to truly check out of the relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I agree.
I agree with that. So with that said, y'all, let us know what you think. Any Counselor's Corner moments, anything that stood out to you guys. And then we are about to go into our news and gossip. This is your time, Shayna. Let them know what's up.
Oh gosh, I'm so mad I missed this last week, but I have juicy gossip for you guys this week. Okay, so back to Bianca, because she gives all the juice, all the tea, all the time on Instagram, and she put out that she is having a baby bump celebration, and everyone is invited, including all of us, because it's virtual. She's going to be doing it on her IG Live. I believe she's going to start it on her IG Live, and then it's going to her unborn baby's Instagram. I guess she's trying to get the numbers up.
Oh, wow.
So you're going to have to follow her baby's Instagram to get the virtual party. She's going to also have, if anybody wants to leave any money, gifts, she has her registry up there. Honey, it is a full baby shower party. And it looks like it's going to be really like cute for a virtual quarantine situation. The invite says you're cordially invited to Bianca Bonnie. Her baby boy is on the way, and she'd like to share her special day with you at her push pamper party. So I can't wait. I will definitely be there. It's April 11th. If you follow Bianca, you can figure out what her baby's Instagram is. If you want to follow it right now, I'll give you the tea. It's baby DAIS_. Not exactly sure how to pronounce Dias. So I'll just spell it for you guys. But yeah, it's gonna be on IG Live, April 11th. Doesn't have a time, but like I said, if you follow her, I'm sure she'll be putting out all the updates throughout the week. And I can't wait to give you guys what happened if you don't go next week on News and Gossip.
Hey, that's dope. You might be able to screen record something too. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
From right inside the function. Raven, are you going to be in the building too?
I am going to be in the building. And Shayna, you should go on and all the tea all the time. You should go on and make that a show.
Oh, yeah. You should. You should.
All the tea,
I
all
might
the
just
time.
have to, you
With
know?
Shay Live. All the tea, all the time with Shay Live. Bang, bang.
I have to write that down and pitch it to AfterBuzz. Maybe they can get me in.
Yes.
That's the move. Bang, bang. Well, it's that time of the show, y'all. It is finally time for us to go into these predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the predictions are quite crazy, because the show is quite crazy. We have a lot of answers to receive, and I'm ready to receive them all. So, Raven, I'll let you start it off. What do you predict?
Look, why is predictions the worst for me with this show? It is so hard. But okay, Ballistic is still very loving. He answered his question with yes, with the marriage question. He did answer yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna continue to go with I can't see Stu and Michelle getting out of this together. Can't see it.
He's a wrap.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's a wrap for them. Well, for Michelle and Stu, it's definitely a wrap for Bianca and Chose. It is over. I think that Bianca is going to definitely push Chose to the edge. So I'm trying to figure out how it's going to happen. I'm thinking the way that she would push him to the edge is if he's actually right about her and she tries to get defensive. Because this is just me speaking from experience. The times that I've been in an argument with a woman and I was actually right, like truly right, and she knew I was right, she always wanted to get like hype with me, as it like basically she wanted to fight me. And this happened multiple times where like I was right and she wanted to fight me. As long as she thought she was right, she could argue, yell at me all day. But once I was right, then she wanted to fight me. So I think that maybe there's a trigger there. Maybe he was right. But all I know is there's gonna be some stuff that's gonna pop off between Bianca.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think both Bianca and Chosis are probably on the lie side of the lie detector test.
Dang, the whole couple? The whole
Yeah,
couple
because
lied?
he absolutely has an emotional, whatever the question was for somebody else. Was he in love with someone else? That's a yes. If he didn't answer yes, he was lying. So, and I'm not sure about Bianca, but the way that she just went about everything moving and being so confident about it, I'm like, you kind of sound like you lying.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that they both lied. I think that this is, I guess, after the show, but Judge Toller said that Jocelyn wanted to be married by May 1st, or she was leaving. She had said that in her lie detector that she would leave, and I am going to predict that they're not going to be engaged by May 1st, and she's still going to stay because she understands that he needs some more time.
And she does too.
Hell yeah.
Yes. I think Styles and Adjoa are going to have a breakthrough, and they'll maybe like renew their vows or something after this.
That's my favorite couple, man.
Yeah.
I want to see them do well.
I was cracking up when the whole elephant in the room thing happened and people were confused. I watched that twice. That was so funny to me. Because Adjoa was like,
yeah, she was like, went out of the frame. Like, I don't know nothing.
That's just crazy, man. Well, it looks like we got a lot to look forward to. If you're watching us, if you're listening to us, either way, please drop a comment, leave a like, give us thumbs up. Let us know what you think, please. Let us know what you think is going to happen. In the meantime, as we wait, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. My name is Byron K. I'm one of your hosts. You can find me everywhere online at Hero from the 90s. Shayna, where can they find you?
You guys know I'm Shay Live, aka, and you can find me everywhere on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff at Shay Live.
Raiven, what about you?
Yes, guys, you can find me Raiven French on all social media, and I like to spell it Raiven with an I, Raiven French on all social media.
Straight like that, y'all. We'll catch y'all next week, and until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and stay buzzing.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.